Welcome to the Next Level Life and Business Podcast, where you get real talk about what it really takes to make more money and have a better life. And now, your life and business strategist, Cledra Gross.
Hello, my next level friends. All right, this week we're talking about the activities that lead to the most revenue. And the first one takes me back in time to my very first business venture. And I remember sending letters. That's when you sent letters out to people about switching over their cable to this network that I had joined. And I was so excited. I had gone to what I call the hype session, where the person who was making millions and he had a large team and he was painting this vision for me that I could get out of corporate America. At the time, I was living in Chicago, working as an engineer. And while my performance was good, it just didn't serve like my purpose. And I know it certainly didn't serve my passion. Maybe you can relate to that. And so when this opportunity came around, the thing that attracted me to it initially was just so I could get away from what I wasn't enjoying. And so that brings me to my first point. What activities equal the most revenue? The first thing is you have to be yourself. The reason that business was an epic fail is talking about cable. Anyone who knows me, like if you really knew me, you'd know that I don't watch a lot of TV. I am so much of a nerd. I love Audible. I love reading. I listen to Audible at 1.5 so I can get through even more books. So when I sent that letter out to my friends and family about switching their cable, they knew. And even there was a part of me that knew that wasn't being who I genuinely am. And so I want you to just pause. Are you showing up in your business as who you genuinely are? Are you being yourself, or are you being a copy or trying to be a copy, like I was trying to be a copy of this guy because he was so successful and he was talking about how he could just go to the beach anytime and he could just go visit his parents anytime he wanted. He had all of this time freedom, and he had painted this picture that, getting everyone I knew, then they would just find two other people to get everyone they knew. And then I would just be on my way out of corporate America, sitting around passively receiving the checks. Great picture, but it wasn't who I really am as a person. It didn't serve my purpose, and it certainly didn't address what I'm passionate about. And so that's the first activity that leads to increased revenue for you. Are you doing what you know is aligned to your purpose and that it lights you up? Because if you aren't, it's going to feel like a push uphill. All right. The second thing is, are you building relationships? So going back to this story, they were telling me to just make a list of 100 people, people I went to high school with. And I can still remember some of the people I reached out to from high school, and it was awkward. Maybe you received these kinds of messages or a phone call that go, I was just thinking about you. And you're just like, what you selling, right? It's like the fake checking on you call or the fake messenger inbox in your email or Facebook where, I was just thinking about you. And then the conversation kind of morphs into, hey, and let me tell you what I'm doing now. And it's so wonderful. And you should come in too. And so what's missing in that interaction, in that conversation, is a relationship. And so building relationships leads to increased revenue because people do business with people they know, like, and trust. So while I was reaching out to family and reaching out to people I went to high school with, they knew me, but where was the trust factor when it came to business? I hadn't built that trust credibility. So when you look at the way you're building relationships, I like to use the analogy of marriage and dating. I love being married because of who it requires me to be. I feel like it's spiritual grad school. It places a demand on how my character develops versus dating. You could just do the fun part. So I say that, are you really committed to the marriage, so to speak? If you use the metaphor of your business like a marriage, are you in it, the good, the bad? You're ready to cultivate the skills that you need to get along with your business if you look at it as a relationship, or are you only happy with it when you're doing the fun stuff? Because in the absence of a solid, committed relationship, then you're not going to continue to have that inspired action that will lead to that increased revenue. All right. And so the third thing I want to say is be a great communicator. And I'm not talking about to others, I'm talking about how you talk to yourself. Because the thing about business is that it requires having the emotional resilience to the failures. It requires having the tenacity when those moments when you're like, I'm going to hit play on this Facebook Live and I may be talking to crickets. And you have to emotionally be able to recalibrate and know that, what I have to say is important. So even though I see a fat goose egg, no one's responding, I'm still going to deliver the goods. So being a great communicator in your mind is key to generating more revenue. Because if you have a bet and you are beating yourself for everything that didn't go well, you're beating yourself for the pace of the growth of your business, you're beating yourself for not being able to juggle, for those of you who have a full-time job and maybe you have a purpose passion project that you want to get up and running, and you're beating yourself because you're not finding the time that you in your mind have imagined is the amount of time you need. Being able to recalibrate emotionally and be a great communicator to yourself is key to increasing revenue. Now, if you look at all three of these, being being yourself, building relationships, and being a great communicator, they're all skills. And no matter where you are, there's the next level of all three of these. So as always, I want to invite you into your next level by attending the Next Level Revenue Mastermind. It's on Wednesday at noon, 12 Eastern, noon is 12, at noon Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you register for that so that you can get the Zoom link and we can interact and I can help you. Are you being yourself? Are you building those relationships? Are you being a great communicator? And if you are, then what's next? Bring your questions. This is interactive. So I love doing this podcast, but what I love even more is talking to you, hearing what you're being challenged with. No one reaches the next level without having a feedback loop and someone to talk to about their challenges. All right, that's what I have for you this week. Those are the activities that will increase your revenue. Make sure you implement what I'm talking about and take your next step. All right, I'll see you next week.